No, you do not put cold pico de gallo on this, and you definitely do not use flour tortillas. It's simple, but when doing it correctly, these huevos rancheros are absolutely delicious. This is the way they're supposed to be. Huevos rancheros translates to rancher's eggs, and when people came to work on the ranch for the day, this was a really quick and easy breakfast or lunch to serve up using always on hand ingredients. They're just really tasty. And in order to achieve that, we have to keep it really simple, but we're also going to pull out as much flavor as possible using a few techniques. Sound good? Let's cook. We're going to start off by roasting up some vegetables for that delicious warm salsa on top. I have 6 Roma tomatoes. These are great tomatoes to use in the summertime, and they're decent in the off season. However, if you are making this in the summertime, all fresh tomatoes are game, whether they're cherries, heirlooms, you name it. The goal here is to simply remove that core using a chef knife or a paring knife, whatever is easiest for you. Then what we want to do is quarter the tomatoes. Once you've done so, spread them out on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper. We want these to roast, not to steam. Now I have 2 small to medium size yellow onions. You could use whites, sweets, or reds here. Slice them in half, remove that outside peel. Now what I simply do is quarter them just like this. Again, spread them out on the sheet tray with tomatoes. Next, I have 2 serrano peppers. I'm going to remove the ends, slice them in half, and then seed them. You know me, I can't stand the heat. Now, if you want to go up a notch, keep some seeds in or use some habaneros. Totally up to you. Add them to that sheet tray as well. And now what I'm going to do is add on 7 to 8 whole garlic cloves that have been trimmed. Now we are going to drizzle on a total of a 1/4 cup of neutral flavored oil. This is going to help in the roasting process. Does not need to be perfect at all. Just spread it out as best you can. Now season them up well with sea salt and fresh cracked black pepper. This looks perfect. Very similar to my chicken tinga recipe, by the way. We're going to add them in the oven at 425 degrees. It's going to take about 25 minutes for these to get a nice char, a nice roast up. At that time, let's simply take them out. Let's have a look. Perfection, my friends. Really quick, the other option here would be to char them on a very hot grill or even a flat top. Now what we're going to do is take the roasted vegetables right over to a blender. Use a rubber spatula here because scrape all that goodness and all the juices on that pan into the blender. Now what we want to do is put the top on, remove that centerpiece. There's a lot of heat in here and they can explode if you turn it on. So what I do is put a little towel over top so nothing splatters out. Then what we're going to do here is pulse it 20 to 25 times. I like it to be a bit chunky. I think there's a lot more flavor there when you do that. Once it gets to this consistency, perfect. Now you may need to readjust the seasonings with salt and pepper. You may need a little bit more than what you did before you roasted it. Now at this point, we're going to set it to the side. We want to keep it warm. We don't have too much more to do. So I'm going to put both lids back on and simply set it to the side. Let's set the record straight. Huevos rancheros are served up on corn tortillas, not flour tortillas. And yes, you can buy the pre-made version if you want. But once you have a homemade corn tortilla on this, there is no going back. You should definitely check out my foolproof recipe to make sure they are perfect every single time. Here's the highlight. 3 cups of masa harina in a large bowl. We're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt, mix it until it's combined. Next, we're going to add in a total of 2 2/3 cup of warm water, about 100 degrees, and mix it until it's completely mixed together and knead for about 7 to 8 minutes. At this point, pull off a golf ball sized ball, roll it until it's nice and tight, keep it on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper, and cover it with a moist towel. Get a griddle hot over a hair over medium heat. Next, dab your hands in a little bit of water, keep it moist. Re-roll out a ball one at a time when you're ready to use. Add it to a corn tortilla press. I've got a parchment round on the bottom. Just press the dough a little bit more. Add another parchment round over top. And then firmly press down on your corn tortilla press. Boom, a perfect corn tortilla. What you want to do is quickly, gently, and perfectly remove the parchment paper, making sure not to tear the tortilla. And we're going back over to that griddle. We're going to gently lay it down, cook it for 45 seconds, come back, give it a quick flip. We're going to cook it for 1 minute and 30 seconds on this side. Now what we want to do is flip it one more time for 45 seconds, press it down in the center, make sure that it rises up and fills up with air. This is perfect. Now we have plenty of tortillas to use. So we are heading over to a cooktop. I'm going to add in about a half cup of neutral flavored oil. Turn the heat to medium. We want to get it to about 350 degrees. Cooking one tortilla at a time. We're going to add it in there and cook it for 30 to 45 seconds per side. We want to get it nice and browned up, just like this. It should be nice and crispy. If you scratch it like this, you should hear that it's nice and firm. This is perfect. Let's take it out and drain off any excess oil on a sheet tray that's been lined with paper towels. One of the other ingredients that are commonly served up with these are refried beans, and they can elevate the flavor of this like no other. Yes, you can pop open a can, or you can check out my deep dive recipe on how to make them from scratch because they are exceptional. Here is the quick version. We need 1 pound of dried pinto beans. Spread them out on a clean surface. Pick through for any unwanted particles. Then simply return them back to the bowl. Head over to a sink. What you want to do is run them under cold water. Move some things around just to give them a really quick rinse. Once they are done, just pour them right into a strainer. Give them a shake. Head over to a large pot. Add them right in there. Followed up with enough cold water to cover them by about 3 to 4 inches. Now add in a half peeled yellow onion. Followed up with 5 to 6 whole garlic cloves. Then immediately add in 1 tablespoon of dried epazote. Then for some earthier tones, we're going to add in 1.5 tablespoons of ground cumin. What we want to do is crank the heat to high, bring it to a boil, which takes about 10 minutes. Let's just give it a quick stir. Then we turn the heat down to low and simmer for 90 minutes. Let's come back after that time, give it a stir. It smells great in here. The way you know they're done is if you give them a gentle push and they squish just like this, they're perfect. Turn the heat off, and then in a separate large pan, we're going to add in a 1/3 cup of rendered bacon fat until melted over medium-high heat. Add in a seedless serrano pepper and fry for 2 to 3 minutes to get some nice zesty flavors incorporated into the oil. Remove that serrano and add in 1 peeled and small diced yellow onion. Turn the heat down to medium-low and cook for 20 to 25 minutes or until well caramelized. At this point, add in 3 finely minced cloves of garlic. Stir everything around just until cooked, which takes about a minute. Now, using a skimmer or slotted spoon, go over to those beans, drain off any excess liquid, add them to the pan with the onions, turn the heat to medium-high, and pan fry these for about 5 to 6 minutes. At this point, grab a hand masher and mash until smooth or slightly chunky, totally up to you. If you need to rehydrate with a little bit of that cooking liquid, add it in there for some flavor. And of course, don't forget to season it up well with some sea salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Another thing I like to do is add back in that serrano pepper and then finish it with 1 cup of shredded Oaxaca or melting cheese. Stir it until it's completely mixed in. Then just set it to the side and keep it warm because guess what? It's egg frying time. So we're going to add 1 egg to that hot frying oil that we fried the corn tortillas up. Immediately season it up with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. I'm only going to cook this for about 30 to 45 seconds because I'm going to baste the top of it with the hot oil. I like a nice over medium egg. Check out my fried eggs recipe video in case you need some help with this. Once you're done frying, just set it to the side to drain on some paper towels. Simplicity is elegant. There's really just no other way to say it. Use basic ingredients married with classical cooking techniques, and it makes the best food ever, period. And when you put these techniques into practice over and over again, it will always elevate your everyday cooking. I'm telling you, everyone is going to want to come to your house. This food is really, really dang good. Here's how you plate it up. We are going to add on those crispy fried corn tortillas. That's right, corn tortillas are the authentic tortilla to use here. And then we're going to add on some heaping spoonfuls of the hot refried beans right over top. Let's add on a few of the eggs, just put them on the beans. And then, of course, add on a bunch of that warm salsa. I'm telling you, this right here is the game changer. So, so good. And you can, if you want, garnish with a little bit of queso fresco or crumbled cotija cheese. And then for some fresh greenery, how about some chopped cilantro? Delicious, my friends. Now, this is next level breakfast. And if you're looking for next level lunch or dinner, my birria tacos are where it's at. They're still the best I've had. We'll see you on there.